Hey guys, it's Hunter. Welcome back to another episode of Ask a Fish. This is the generally weekly series where I answer your questions on Discord, so don't forget to join our server if you got a question for a future episode, link in the description. I don't know if you can tell from my voice, but I'm kind of struggling right now. I don't know what I picked up, but it is not fun and I can't hear out of this ear. So I apologize if I sound weird or I seem out of it. Bear with me. The last few weeks have been, insane, crazy times, including actually quite a lot going on in the world of guitar and gear, so let's not delay. Smack a like on the video if you're going on to enjoy it. That fondles the algorithm's favor, I guess, is what we're going with, and actually massively helps out the channel more than you might realize. And with that, you guys have questions? Let's jump in. Straassman asks, have you seen the new Dean lineup? Z and V are back and also a whole new shape? Honestly, no, I had not, but oh my god, it sounds like we need to. Because love or hate Dean, and it seems like there's very little in between. Between an exodus of some of their biggest names on the artist roster, a very messy and public divorce from Dimebag Darrell's estate over some of their most popular models, succession-style family leadership drama, alleged massive debts, and of course, the ongoing series of legal entanglements with one of the most powerful guitar brands on the planet over trademark infringement. Point is, Dean guitars, they've been through a lot. So it's amazing then that not only does Dean guitars still exist, but recently they've also been releasing a decent number of new models, some of which are really cool, some of which are absolutely insane, and some of which can only be described as pure unadulterated shithousery. That's the quick and dirty TLDR, so we're all on the same page. I'll have my breakdown of last year's quite impressive in multiple ways Dean lineup linked in the cards and in the description. Definitely recommend you watch that after this one to catch up on the full context, and there's some really interesting guitars you don't want to miss. But that brings us back to the present with this new 2025 Dean lineup. Familiar shapes are back, as are suspiciously familiar visual themes, and what in the wild audio is going on here? Oh boy. This should be interesting. Let's take a closer look at what Dean Guitars has been up to. All right, let's start from the top here. And already, literally, the very first model. Oh my god, that's intense. What is this? USA Michael Amott Wraith in blood red. Michael Amott, of course, he and his brother Chris were founding members of Arch Enemy, and he's been a loyal Dean artist. He's been with them something like 15 years. Oh, I get it. This is his previous signature shape, the Tyrant, that he's used for a long time, the flying V with the barbs, and they've combined it with their most iconic shape, the classic ML, then slapped a reverse headstock on there. That's a crazy shape. It's like a Beyblade. Even the inlays look
a little longer than a few minutes later.
Alright, what does it say? Working with a creative icon whose career spans over 3 decades of evolution, Michael Amott shows no signs of resting in his laurels. Okay, good to know. So Michael Amott is not going to be napping in shrubbery. My bad. We're going to focus more on this metal-ass guitar instead of being a smartass about typos. Together with the team at Dean Guitars, they combined the idea of the Michael Amott signature Tyrant with the classic ML, and voila, the Wraith is born. Oh, so I could have just read the thing. Dude, the thing is so fucking metal, and I love the black bevels on the back too, just like they do on the Tyrants. Dude, the contrast of the bare maple neck is also really cool. Now that I'm seeing this angle though, you know what this actually reminds me of? The equally batshit insane and just announced Dime Guitars culprit. Dude, I mean, as soon as I saw it from the back, the red, the black, the super pointy shape with the barbs, natural maple neck, both with that Dean Zielinski connection, that ML inspired look, both just look like absolute weapons. That bridge pickup looks fittingly intense. What are the specs on this thing? Mahogany body, set, 3-piece maple neck, ebony fingerboard, 24.6-inch scale length, USA DMT pickups, a time capsule in the neck, and the intense looking one is Amott's Tyrant. So yeah, I mean, it's completely not my thing whatsoever, but at the same time, I mean, just look how fucking cool this shot is. It's just so unapologetically metal. Wait, and I know we're skipping ahead, but how is this different from this other one down here? Oh, they're launching an import version at the same time. Significantly more reasonably priced. Exact same shape, same color scheme, exact same description about Michael Amott not resting in bushes. But if the description's the same, does that mean that the specs are the same too, with like USA pickups and stuff? Looks like yes, and lumen laser are listed on the import spec sheet. You know, I really have to hand it to Dean on this one. There's very little artificial differentiation between this one and the USA. Yeah, this is the same wood combo, the same aesthetic, the exact same pickups even that are in the 3 times more expensive USA version, right? Like there's no intentional and egregious artificial differentiation. Spec-wise, this is very close to the guitars that Michael Amott actually plays, which is awesome for the fans. Wait, what the hell? There's a third version? Oh, it's a Floyd variant? Wait, when did this come out? Okay, I can't find an actual launch announcement, but here it is in the video for Arch Enemy's Dream Stealer, so I guess that was the announcement. Yeah, I guess I'm super behind in my Dean news because I had no idea the shape had already been revealed. It's been a long time since I've looked at Michael Ammett's signatures, but what is this? Literally, the entire top is a mirror pickguard. That's awesome. The reflection of the mammoth pole pieces and the chrome pickup covers is so funny. It's like double the absurdity. I mean, for $1,200, made at World Music in South Korea, USA Dean pickups, ebony fingerboard, and just insane vibes. I'm not even into pointy guitars or flying Vs, but I want that. That is insane. It's like if Machine Gun Kelly's Razor Blade guitar wasn't fucking stupid. I mean, that's outrageous. Damn, literally only one guitar in, and already I'm getting distracted by a shiny object. We move. All right, finally onto the second guitar. I'm gonna try not to talk as much because I don't want to bore you guys, and also I need to get my ass back to bed and die. Oh. What is this pointy but classy thing? USA Kerry King V2 Flametop Trans Black. Two entities that never stop are Kerry King and Dean guitars. True, if the last couple of years have taught us anything about Dean guitars. Together, they've designed a new V for the world to adore. Sleek, classy, and yet still aggressive, the V2 will drop all jaws from the front of the stage to the back of the pit. Gorgeous flame maple top. Not the usual type of flare we're used to seeing on a Kerry King guitar. Is Kerry King gone soft? Is Kerry King selling out? God, those tribal designs or something. Jesus Christ, flames and tribal designs. Forgot about this one. I'm liking this reserved, soft sellout Kerry King vibe much more. Ebony fingerboard with LED side markers. Cool. Will never lose your spot no matter how dark the stage gets. To keep things even more stunning, the inlays are a combination of mother of pearl and black pearl blocks. Those inlays actually look super cool for a metal guitar. The classic Les Paul custom blocks, but with a metal twist. Since it's Kerry King, this guitar would not be complete without the Kerry King signature Kaler tremolo, EMG 81, EMG PA2 mid boost, and Sustainiac system. Those black pearl inlays, that flame maple top with a matching headstock too. It doesn't look like an earwig or the Stranger Things monster that they've just slapped Kaler tremolos into. You have to say, this is actually kind of legitimately classy, which I never thought was a way that I would describe a Kerry King guitar. But here we are. It's also objectively funny that out of all of his signature guitars from Dean, this pointy-ass fucking thing is the most low-key conservative one. And then the next guitar, the USA Morningstar Floyd. The body outline, very much Eddie Van Halen star guitar vibes. The one he slapped a Den Electro neck onto, which is why the headstock looks absolutely ridiculous. You have to say, the Dean take on the Star looks very aggressive. Blacked out, aggressive shape, reverse headstock, old school metal guitar. Mahogany body, 3-piece maple neck, ebony fingerboard, 25.5-inch scale length, original Floyd Rose, USA DMT Cat 5 pickups. To be honest, not super interesting compared to the Morningstar prototypes they've been showing since last year. Reese Scruggs of Machine Head has been playing this thing, what I hope is a prototype of his upcoming signature guitar. The gold hardware, the light binding, super cool. He recently posted about this one too. Didn't say what scale length, but baritone Morningstar? No binding, direct mounted EMGs, gold hardware. I don't know what's going on right now because usually I am not about the pointy guitars whatsoever, but that's sick. Classy, clean, super metal. You have to say, that combination of aggression and class, that's pretty cool. Then these twin custom Morningstars for Rob Barrett of Cannibal Corpse. This one is especially cool with the red pickup and the red binding. Big Gary Holt vibes. And this one is almost the inverse. It's like a yin and yang type thing. Always love that. Equal, opposite, complementary. It's very satisfying. Anyways, what I'm getting at is compared to those, this one, it's fine. Oh, and I'm really digging the vibe of these next four guitars. These look like the next generation of what were my favorite Dean guitars last year. Clearly, a lot going on with these. So before we do that, you know what else I really like the vibe to? The sponsor of today's video, One Shot Energy. Nailed that segue. They're revolutionizing the world of health and sustainable energy through their tasty supplement-infused candies. And One Shot, they're not just a sponsor, they're legitimately part of my daily life and work routines. Regular viewers have heard me mention frequently how much of a game changer One Shot's voice drops have been, and how they're an essential part of my daily workflow. Developed with Matt Hafey of Trivium for musicians, streamers, anyone that needs to protect their voice, I've literally got them on my desk ready to go at all times. Like before, Shivani said my serial killer trait was the alarming number of empty Halls wrappers she'd find on my desk after filming sessions, just to keep my voice going. But with One Shot's voice drops, we can and have gone very far down super obscure rabbit holes, no problem, still have my voice. You get longer content, I still have my voice, and I don't look like a serial killer. Love that for us. Then for the caffeine sensitive like myself, Focus Chews are awesome to get and stay on track. Zinc fortified and vitamin loaded to provide a natural energy burst and provide critical support for my immune system against whatever generational virus my toddlers managed to smuggle back from daycare this week. They're always keeping it fresh with new flavors too. When One Shot told me about the new Dark Matter Cherry, understandably, I said absolutely not. You can keep your cough medication. But I'm glad they convinced me to keep an open mind because, that's actually really decent. Then packed with 75 milligrams of pure caffeine and enhanced with nootropics, One Shot's energy chews are like fruit chew sized energy drinks, minus the sugar crash or the cost. In the office, on the road, just pop one, get energized, quick and efficient. Love it. And the best thing is, as a channel partner, One Shot are giving you guys 10% off site-wide. Just use my code AGAFISH. Link is in the description. Discounts also stack, so any deals you see, make sure to use code AGAFISH for an even better one. And of course, using my link and code helps support the channel by letting them know that I sent you. And while you're checking that lifestyle game changer out, let's get back into guitars. Continuing with the cherry theme. So these look like the next generation updates to what were my favorite Dean guitars last year, right? Because where their legal entanglements left them last year, they couldn't make the V or the Z, so instead they took the Pointy or Mustaine versions, Zero Fucks Given and Back with a Vengeance, and in one of the most defiant displays of the Zero Fucks Given mentality, they created classic Deans from an alternate reality with traditionally inspired aesthetics and features that classic Deans from this reality never actually had. And hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, because these were the coolest things that Dean dropped last year. And now that they can make the V and the Z again, it looks like they're taking that same alternate reality classic Dean and they've expanded it to the big four original Dean shapes from when they first started shipping guitars in 1978. So you've got the Z, the V, the ML, and the Cadillac, all in trans cherry, a throwback to late 70s Deans, like this vintage 1979 Dean Z. Okay, first one of the new USA Time Capsule trans cherry models is the Cadillac, the Les Paul in the back, Explorer in the front, some would call abomination, but vintage Deans, they didn't look like this. That's an insane looking Cadillac, but as you can see, no pickguards. So what guitar do you think inspired the pickguard on this Cadillac? And what classic vintage guitars are known for coming with these plastic snot-colored tuning buttons? The relentless shithousery continues. The tiny Les Paul pickguard looks ridiculous on the caddy body, and the matching transparent cherry headstock with the gold wings, that's completely outrageous and kinda sick. That's like so unbelievably cursed that I actually kind of love it. All right, so what are the specs on this thing? Mahogany body, 3-piece mahogany neck with the vintage soft V shape, bone nut, Grover locking tuners, ebony fingerboard with the 12-inch radius, and USA DMT Baker Act and Time Capsule pickups. All right, I know nothing about Dean's pickup range, but they like keeping things in-house, huh? So let's get some background on these. Pat Baker's the driving force behind the DMT line. His signature pickup, the Baker Act, has the output, guts, and grit that players of his stature are entitled to. Alnico 5, wow, 17.3K. Okay, so very high output. Michael Emmett Tyrant. The Tyrant is recommended for the bridge. It makes a great combination with the Nostalgia neck pickup. High output and strong high end with singing harmonics and sustain. Excellent choice from everything from classic rock to all out metal, as all pickup descriptions say that they are. I love how every single pickup description on every single website says basically the same thing. Great for everything. You'll have so many harmonics and sustains, you won't know what to do with them all. Alnico 5, DC resistance, 16.2K. Again, very high output. Equalizer, strong output with singing harmonics. Even with its high output, it still retains very good high end. Okay. Very versatile pickup that works well in many styles of music. See what I mean? Another Alnico 5, another 16.2K. Revelation 7, hot output, retaining low end clarity, which is important so the low B string doesn't sound muddy. Tonality of this pickup is very close to Dean's Time Capsule, perfect for players that want that vintage Dean tone in their 7-string. Ceramic, 14.2K. Mountain of Tone, Leslie West made his mark around the world with his band Mountain back in the early 70s. Sound was used to record the timeless classic Mississippi Queen, has been captured in the Leslie West Mountain of Tone pickup. Alnico 5, 16.57K. Dude, so far Dean do not have a single chill pickup. And the Time Capsule series of pickups is what Dean currently uses in their original Time Capsule series guitars. These pickups capture the biting tones of the vintage Dean instruments produced from 1977 to 1986 with very strong lows and mids. ceramic 14.2K. Then the flathead, you can spot a flathead pickup in a flash by its double adjustable coils. What does that mean? What? I don't get it. Anyways, in comparison to the Nostalgia series, this pickup has a warmer sound and utilizes an Alnico 2 magnet like the original PAF pickups of the 50s. I love how the DC resistance is literally half of the next chillest pickup. And lastly, the Nostalgia, it's a vintage style humbucking pickup, great for classic rock and blues. Moderate output of Nostalgia makes it a favorite for guitars seeking classic tones with a balanced response.
Later that same evening.
Then the ML, pretty much exactly the same specs, mahogany body, 3-piece mahogany neck, USA DMT pickups, Grover tuners, again, snot-colored tuning buttons look absolutely absurd on the ML. This is a flyer from the early years, and this is what they looked like. An ML with that Explorer pickguard might be one of the most cursed things I've seen in my life. But again, it's one of those things that's like so outrageous and cursed, it's actually pretty sick. It seems to be the general theme with Dean guitars this year. Fucking outrageous, kind of cursed, but at the same time, pretty sick and kind of classy. Then the classic V shape is back. It's less pointy than the Vengeance, and I really did like this model, but the fact that the body was a really pointy V and the headstock was a more rounded V, wasn't a fan. My OCD just couldn't handle it. They've used the same pickguard on the V, but something doesn't look quite right here.
A little while later.
All right, I figured it out. They've basically taken the shape of the 70s V pickguard and combined it with the launch year 58 control scheme. And it turns out when you do that, the result is kind of cursed, especially since that meant that they also had to use this offset tailpiece. Par for the course, cursed and classy. But at least now both the body and the headstock have rounded points. And finally, just ignore the typo there, the Z, which I actually think looks the best and by far the least cursed out of all of them. I mean, honestly, that just looks like a really nice guitar. You know, whether or not these were originally forged in the fires of shithousery or not, I am really glad that they're continuing this series of alternate reality classic Deans. Right now, it just kind of sucks that these are US custom shop only, because you know, I'm sure they're great guitars, but $4,600 is a lot of money. I'm really hoping for high-spec import versions, and there's so much you can do with this concept, right? Like, you could do different styles of alternate reality classic Dean with the existing shapes. It would be cool to see what they could do with other shapes. They could add some of their newer shapes, like the Exile, the Morningstar, a traditional vintage-style split tail would be absolutely absurd. Throw a fucking Les Paul pickguard and a Bigsby onto that. And by the way, if you decide to treat yourself, because you deserve it, I'll put links in the description to more details on all the gear that we're talking about. And feel free to bookmark my Sweetwater and Toman links for later, like the next time you're picking up strings, picks, whatever. It's a simple, fun way to support the channel. Helps me out a lot in bringing you guys quality content, so really appreciate it if you decide to do that. Okay, next one now, and what is this? USA Flat Top Floyd. Is that a typo? Is this a new shape? An ML but in the pointier Vengeance and Zero style? If this is a new shape, that has to be a typo. There's no way they've named a new shape Flat Top. Let's see what it says. The new USA Dean Flat Top may be the fiercest model to arrive in 2025. As an edgier take on our classic ML shape, Dean sharpens all the points on this weapon of rock and metal. Set neck construction, 3-piece mahogany neck, ebony fingerboard with pearl flat top inlays, tie in all the warmth and sustain one expects from a Dean USA. Wait. Nah. No way. No way they've named a shape Flat Top. Apart from being an SEO nightmare, it just doesn't make sense. Like, the edgier V is the Vengeance, the edgier Z is the Zero, pointier ML, Flat Top? The description said pearl flat top inlays, so maybe they kind of look like cow tracks, I guess? All right, let me try to find a real photo. Oh, weird lighting. It's actually more of an iron pewter color. No, that's definitely not right, and I'm totally wrong on that. Some sort of moth, maybe? They kind of look like paper airplanes. Yeah, I concede. I'm lost. If you get the reference, share the knowledge down below. Loaded with USA DMT Baker Act and Nostalgia pickups, bring all the output and tone for any genre of rock and metal music, and the tuning stability of the original Floyd Rose tremolo system proves this guitar is not for the faint of heart. Much like that sentence. What are the frets made out of? 22 jumbo nickel. Even for the high-end US metal machines, Dean doesn't really like their stainless steel, do they? But this is cool. So you've got these two variations, right? You've got the original flavor Dean, the same V, Z, and ML that they've used since 1977, and now also this more modern, pointier flavor in the Vengeance, the Zero, and the inexplicably named flat top. And you have to say, especially the flat top, that does look aggressive as fuck, dude. That is a metal-ass metal guitar shape. My God. Oh, wow. So here's another prototype. Dude, I think the full red flame maple top would have been really cool, but then the red wings, the red moving parts for the Floyd and the nut, the red fingerboard binding, the red cross inlays. Imagine doing your Sunday worship set with this. You know, the first one was already metal as fuck. This one, Jesus Christ. All right, now moving on to what looks like hell. Nah, I think it's affordable signature territory, actually. So let's start first with this one, the Kerry King VX Black Satin. Jesus. This is the affordable version of his first Dean signature shape, the Kerry King V, the flying V with the Maleficent hairdo. They launched with the US version at $8,666. Then there was the Select Series version, still high spec, but import, so much more affordable. And the gloriously over-the-top metal vibes, fully intact. And now we've got the budget level version. So let's see what specs have changed to get it down to $500. Now the one and only original KKV is now available in the X Series. Eastern mahogany body combines 24 fret rosewood fingerboard on a bolt-on maple neck. Dean, please run this through ChatGPT to proofread, I beg. Okay, bring out all the presence and tone needed to hold and play such a ferocious looking guitar. Okay, so it's about what you'd expect. The US model was neck through, the Select Series was set through, this one's bolt-on, no Kaler trem, and it's almost weird seeing a Kerry King guitar without a Floyd, but for affordable guitars, hardtail is 100% the right call. And remember before, we were just talking about artificial differentiation for the Michael Emmett Wraiths? What's up with these inlays? To be fair, I don't know where the X Series is made, but from my work with Harley Benton, generally import factories can do whatever custom inlays you want, and it doesn't meaningfully add to the cost of production. Like if you've gone through the trouble to faithfully replicate the very identifiable headstock and body shape, there's no good reason for, instead of using Kerry King's inlays, to instead use these generic ass diamonds. There's not even an inlay on the first fret. I mean, it's just, why? Credit to Dean though, Kerry King's models do have unusual electronics features. The Sustainiac, the PA2 preamp booster with the US EMGs. Obviously, at this price point, they're not gonna be able to do any of that, but they've still managed to throw in a kill switch, which is super fun, super metal, unusual for guitars at this price point. It's in keeping with the spirit of the line, doesn't blow up the price tag. You'll love to see it. And here's the affordable X Series version of his second Dean signature shape, the Kerry King Overlord X in satin gray. I know it's gray and not silver, but with the black hardware, that tailpiece, it's almost got Dave Mustaine Dean V vibes. Complete coincidence or semi-intentional shithousery? I'll let you decide. Same specs, Eastern mahogany body, 24 fret rosewood fingerboard on a bolt-on maple neck. Again, bring out all the presence and tone needed to hold and play such a ferocious looking guitar. And I know, I literally just bitched about artificial differentiation, and I still think that using generic inlays that look nothing like the ones that are on the guitars that Kerry King actually plays is ridiculous. But I also like how the X Series has its own identity, right? Like if you want these ridiculous shapes for whatever reason, but you don't want a Kaler tremolo, you've got options for that now. Bolt-on also has a different feel to set neck or to neck through. For lack of a better term, it feels snappier. Like there's this kind of tactile feedback that I've been really into recently. So especially this Overlord in its completely different color. These actually bring something unique to the table and at affordable price points. $499, you know, not super budget level, but these are also not generic shapes, right? You literally cannot get these very, very unique Kerry King Dean shapes anywhere else. And then if you need any more proof that God has abandoned us, behold, this absolutely unholy war crime of a guitar. An unholy war crime much like the 1,071,867% of viewers who have not subscribed. Brutal. So use your quick reminder to subscribe if you haven't already, and also hit the notification bell, that way you're the first to know about new videos. We just hit 220,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. Absolutely unreal. Let's see if we can hit 250,000, 250,000 subscribers this year. That's pretty ambitious, but that would be amazing. And if you're not a Misfits or a punk rock fan, you might not realize why this is so exciting, because this X Series signature is for Doyle Wolfgang von Frankenstein of the Misfits. He's been playing this shape since the 90s. He says he originally doodled the shape on a piece of paper at school, and then he decided, fuck it, and created the first version by carving it out of his Ibanez Iceman. And I mean, that's punk as fuck. So for decades, he's been playing this now iconic punk guitar shape, and for most of that time, he's literally been building his own guitars in his own machine shop. There was a short-lived collaboration with a brand called October Guitars, which ended because apparently they weren't very good. But other than that, fans haven't been able to buy one because, I mean, he's the only one making them for himself. Could we also take a second to appreciate what a fucking unit this man is? Like, Jesus Christ, he's 60 and he's built like a fucking superhero action figure, and he owns the Annihilator shape outright, so no one else can legally create knockoffs. That's why it was a big deal when he signed with Dean a couple years ago. Maybe finally there would be a high quality Annihilator production series. So they revealed the first Dean Annihilator. It looked as it does. No, but I mean, it looks the part, it looks well built, fans were stoked, but that absolute nut punch of a price tag, even by Dean USA custom shop standards, I mean, that's one that lingers in your stomach for a while. In fairness, deep beveled edges around this wacky guitar shape with all these points and cutaways on both sides of the body, I mean, that looks like a ton of labor hours and just an absolute pain in the ass. Like, awesome, it's officially joined the Dean lineup, but still not really attainable for most people. That was a lot of backstory, but hopefully now you understand why some people are losing their minds over this. An affordable production Annihilator from a big, well-known guitar brand like Dean, this X Series version, this is a guitar that fans have been waiting literally decades for. It's finally here, and I mean, it looks the part. Obviously at, what is that, 6%? The cost of the USA version. There have been some spec compromises, so let's see how it compares. Here's the USA, mahogany body, 3-piece mahogany neck through, rich light fingerboard, Schaller tuners, FU tone titanium custom tremolo, Doyle's own handmade high output custom pickup. He was known for using the Seymour Duncan Invader, so I'm gonna guess that that's what this is based on. Interesting way to mount it though, where it's like in a cut up recessed pickup ring. The X Series is bolt-on with a rosewood fingerboard, Floyd Rose special, and import DMT design pickup. I like the little detail with the chrome knob too, same as on Von Frankenstein's actual guitars. Is there a picture of the back? No. The front looks good. I wanted to see if they nailed the back bevels too. So I mean, spec-wise, it is what it is. While I personally have zero interest in spending any money on this affront to Christ. I love the story behind the Annihilator, and it is cool that finally a lot of patient fans are going to be able to get one. And then, oh, import Morningstar. And Silverburst, Morningstar Classic. X Series is the budget level imports, Select Series is the high spec imports, and the Classic Series is the middle tier imports that sits in between those. $7.99, Eastern mahogany body, mahogany set neck, Indian rosewood. Okay, mini Grover tuners, Floyd Rose special, import versions of the DMT Time Capsule pickups. So that's cool, one of the modern Dean shapes in an old school Silverburst finish. It's wild to me that apparently people didn't really like Silverburst when it first came out, but finally we figured out that you can slap Silverburst on anything and it looks awesome. And I mean, throw whatever your preferred set of pickups are into this thing, that looks like it should be a fun time. And now we've reached the awkward section of the new lineup, especially these two down here, the V79 Floyd Flametop Duncan Slime and the Z79 Red Black Fade. You know what, at this point, a typo is the least awkward thing about this. So if you don't know what's going on, well, that's okay, because none of us do. This kind of came out of nowhere. You know, obviously there was the whole Washburn era, but for as long as I've been a guitar player, for as long as I've been following guitar gear, Dean and Dimebag Daryl were basically synonymous. You know, you'd walk into a guitar shop and there would be at least one Dean, big ass wings on the front of the headstock, and Dimebag Daryl's silhouette on the back. A lot of the time his name was even printed on the front too. I'm not even gonna lie to you, when I first started playing guitar and I knew nothing about any guitar brands, I literally thought that all Dean did was Dimebag MLs. Well, MLs and pointier versions of MLs. I didn't know what any of them were called, but I literally thought of Dean as the Pantera guitar brand. So this came as an absolute shock. It was like mom and dad getting a divorce out of nowhere, and it was ugly. Dime's estate accused Dean of a couple things. The most shocking allegation was that even though they'd agreed not to, Dean had attempted to trademark certain Dimebag design shapes that Dime's estate says that they had no right to, specifically the Razorback and the Stealth. Dean, for their part, denies all the allegations, and we're still waiting for the legal process to play out, but given that Dimebag Daryl is still remembered as one of the most beloved, one of the most iconic guitar players of all time. I mean, he's literally a metal martyr. Given how much emotion and how much passion's at play, if you're in Dean's shoes, you're probably trying to be really careful about how you respond, because you have to respond. Stealing guitar designs from a late artist as revered as Dimebag Darrell is to then use for yourself, that is a massive accusation. Whether or not the allegations are true or not, this is such an ugly, messy situation with a lot of passionate fans emotionally involved. You don't want to lose in the court of public opinion before the legal system has a chance to play itself out. So you're probably going to put a lot of thought into how to get your side of the story out there in a way that's respectful, or you could instead perform one of the boldest feats of top-tier shithousery I have ever seen. Objectively, what the fuck? True to form, never a dull day in the world of live fast, eat ass Dean guitars. Objectively, it's pretty funny. There's the near beyond driven, regular ass slime that belongs to no one in particular. Communal slime? Ooh, this classic black actually looks very nice though. Clean, straightforward workhorse. Honestly, with this one, I'm surprised they didn't fully commit. Just throw a lightning bolt graphic wrap in every box. So fucking ballsy. Personally, if I were accused and being sued for allegedly stealing an iconic artist's guitar designs to then take ownership as my own, I'm not gonna lie, this is probably not the move I would have made. Given the overall context, even if you're well within your legal rights, even if you win the lawsuit, it's just not the best look. But again, on merit of shithousery alone, fair play. Anyway, so yeah, that was last year. These suspiciously familiar MLs ruffled quite a few feathers, and I mean, yeah, you can't say that that wasn't at least part of the intention. And since then, the concept has clearly evolved and expanded, different shapes and also new but similar color schemes. Okay, so the Z79 Floyd Flametop Duncan's slime. Oh, I stand corrected. It's not nobody's slime, it's Duncan's slime. Dean Classic Series Z79 brings back some of the best features of the early days of Dean, along with a few upgraded specifications that take this tough Z to the next level. So what do we have? Mahogany body, mahogany neck, rosewood fingerboard, Seymour Duncan JB59, Grover tuners, Floyd Rose Special, and the V79 Floyd Flametop Duncan slime. Compared to the ML79 slime, these have more of that stealth Razorback slime burst. It wasn't officially announced, but there was also a thoroughbred too. I wonder what happened to that. Oh, it's awesome, right on the homepage. Slime Classic Series, there you are. Oh my god, it's like a dime slime skin thoroughbred. That's so cool. The only potential bummer is the Floyd Rose Special, but other than that, that color on a carved top single cut is amazing. And Seymour Duncan's for $8.99, that's not bad. Where can I even get one of these, actually? Provision. Sick.
A few moments later.
What in the MySpace era internet is this? It now occurs to me that this is probably Provision, not Provision, but either way, we move. And then along the same lines of the ML79 Black Blue Fade, they've also added the ML79 Red Black Fade, and the more evil, completely desaturated version, the ML79 Gray Black Fade. These ones are even more wallet friendly because they don't have Duncans. They've got import DMT time capsules instead. Oh, and I like how there's a bit of color coming from the abalone inlays. And now the V and Z79s also come in blue black fade and in red black fade. Exact same specs, exact same price, just more options to match whatever shape or control scheme preferences you have. So yeah, these are still a little awkward given the ongoing and still very current legal situation. Personally, I just don't like fades, so But yeah, I guess the main point here is, controversial or not, this is fucking sick. And then, nah. Nope. If they can't chug, I don't see them. That's all the new guitars. Personally, my favorites were the Kerry King V2, the USA Time Capsule Series. Ah, it's so cool. Really digging Dean's aggressive and classy guitars this year. So, like, for a company that was looking pretty cooked not too long ago, Dean are kind of back. I mean, they've obviously still got a ways to go, especially with distribution and availability, but the actual lineup, for Dean fans, things are definitely looking up. Last year's NAMM, they really lent into that no fucks given mentality, and people either loved that just absolute unwillingness to go quietly into the night, just taking shots at everybody on the way down, or people just hated it. So it's refreshing to see that this year, Dean are a little more subtle. They haven't really done any no fucks given posts in a while. They actually really don't post that much in general. Last post was like a week and a half ago, and for a major brand, that is Not great, kind of reminiscent of my upload schedule to be honest, but we move. Struggling social media games aside, the V and the Z, half of Dean's original 1977 launch lineup and two of the most iconic shapes are back, including in not Dime Slime and other related finishes. The USA Time Capsule Series is now even more direct with their inspired winks and nods. Beyond legacy models, they're even evolving the brand with new shapes. But yeah, this year Dean don't have to explicitly say those words, zero fucks given, because I mean, look at it. Dean's 2025 guitar lineup is doing all the talking for him. So yeah, I've rambled enough. Those are just my thoughts. Here's where I'll throw it to you. What do you think of Dean's new lineup, the return of the V and the Z? What do you think of some of those inspired spec and aesthetic choices? What shapes should or would you like to see added to the USA Time Capsule Series? Any and all thoughts, drop them down below. And that will do it for this week's episode of Ask a Fish. Massive shout out to my amazing Patreon supporters. You guys make the channel what it is, so thank you. If you'd like to see your name up there and get bonus extras, consider directly supporting the channel by becoming a patron as well. Super comfortable merch is available. That's another great way to support the channel. And don't forget, you can grab a free IR from my new company, Kickass Audio, down below too. Social media, Discord, and links to more details on all the gear are down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. You've been awesome, and I will see you for the next video.